Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about Solidity variables. So we'll see state variables, local variables, and global variables. So state variables are variables that are declared outside of any functions in a Solidity contract. They are part of the contract state and can be accessed and modified by any function in the contract. So the important thing here is that they should be outside the function scope and inside the contract scope. So state variables are stored permanently on the blockchain and their values are persistent across function calls and contract instances. So here is an example. The important thing here, as I mentioned, it should be inside the contract scope, and if there is any function, it should be outside of that function. So local variables. Local variables, on the other hand, are variables that are declared inside a function and are only visible within that function. So it's just like in any other programming language. If it's created inside a function scope, we call it a local variable. So they are temporary and exist only for the duration of the function call. Local variables are used to store intermediate results or perform calculations. So their value is not permanent. When the function call is discarded, the values will be discarded as well. So here is how we can create a local variable. For example, here result is a local variable, and when the execution of this function is done, we won't be able to see a result variable. We will just get the return value, then it will be discarded with the function call. So global variables. Global variables are a special type of variable in Solidity that are available to all contracts and functions. They are typically used to provide information about the environment in which the contract is executing. For example, the block.number global variable returns the current block number, and the message.sender global variable returns the address of the sender of the current message. So here is, we have utilized message.sender before. It's a global variable and gives the sender of this specific transaction. So let us have some code together. Okay, here I have my variables Solidity file. So I will say contract variables. And in this contract, I will create a state variable. Let's say string public, and let's make it my state variable. And I will call it state example. All right, so this is inside the contract scope and I won't create it inside the function scope. That's the important thing here. So when it comes to creating a local variable, let us just give a trivial example here. Let us say add, and I will get a uint as a parameter. So let's say uint a, and I will make it public pure, and let's say returns uint as well. So in this regard, I will create a local variable called, for example, local uint, and this is gonna be, for example, 10. Then I will return the value of a plus local uint. Okay, so in this regard, local uint is a local variable created by us, and when this function call ends, this value, this variable, it will be discarded as well. So let's create another function for global variables. So let's say function global variables, and I will make it public view, and it's going to return address, uint, and uint values. So in this regard, I'm going to return message.sender, which is a global variable, block.timestamp, and let's say block.number. Okay, so these are some of the global variables. So let us first deploy this contract, and we'll see if there are some other global variables available. So here, let us see our state variable. It's all right. I can get the value of it. It's inside the contract scope and outside any other function scopes. So let's see our add function. So there is a global variable here, and just give an example. Let's say 13. We need to get the value of 23. So it's working as well. So when it comes to global variables, so let us call the function. So this is what we get from message.sender, which is the sender of this transaction, and it should be this account EDDC4. It's working all right. So this is the value in seconds from 1970, and we are getting this timestamp just because of this. And here is the block number. So there are a lot of global variables. So let us check some of them. So here you can see we have used message.sender, sender of the message. We have seen block.number, and there are a lot of global variables. So it's up to you. When you need them, you can use them, and we'll be using these in our project section as well. The important thing here is that there are special variables available to any contract. All right. So just have some time on this website and try to read them. them, try to use them in your own function as well. So that's gonna do it for this video. I will see you in the next one.